How's it going, guys? Blaine here for Pitchfork Games. If you guys have been with us for a while on the channel, you know that a little while ago, I reacted to some anti-Pokemon sermons from the, late 90s, early 2000s, when everybody thought Pokemon was demonic and evil spirits and all that. Well, in a lot of ways, it's never really died, and it's still going on these days. So we were able to find even more Pokemon sermons to talk about and react to. That's what we're going to be doing today. So this is part 2 of my reacting to Pokemon sermons video. And we're going to get started with a bit of a warm-up. You could argue that some of these pastors have somewhat valid points about certain things, but we're going to start off today with somebody who's obviously off their rocker, and just a way to really get us started on this awesome adventure. So let's go take a look at it. Alright guys, so the first video we have to look at today is from something called Club 36, which as you can see is from the Christian TV station Watchmen Broadcasting. So what this is, it's like a televangelist clip. It's basically like a discount 700 club, if you want to think about it that way. With like Pat Roberts, like super televangelist type stuff. So the guy we're going to look at today is, and it's also a lady as well. So we're going to take a look at what they have to say about Pokemon and also Minecraft.
Someone called and said, is Pokemon demonic?
No. The answer to that is yes, they are all Oriental demons.
I like his literature, man.
And as you read in the Pokemon, in order for Pokemon
like
to advance in power, it has to evolve to another level. And each, evolution, he becomes more demonic in appearance.
Does that include Wigglytuff, man? They all become more demonic? Wigglytuff is just a giant thing of custard. I really love, man, this dude looks just like Giovanni with the black hair. Giovanni's like, great-great-granddad who took a turn into Crazyville.
And eventually he gets to a point where he's totally demonic. And these are all Oriental demons. The names are actually names of demons.
Oh, damn. So there's a demon Jigglypuff. Let's see. There's a demon named Fuden. That's a Japanese name, of course. Is there a demon named Comfy? I really want to meet the Comfy demon. That sounds pretty cool, actually. And also, guys, quick PSA, please don't use the word Oriental. Many Asian Americans find that to be offensive, and that's not, okay.
I'll tell you all, be careful what you let your kids have, what you let them listen to. Isn't there a guitar that's called Something Hero?
So, not only is this lady so detached, she's never heard of Guitar Hero, she also has that mom haircut that's like business in the front and like bird talons in the back. That looks like if you have to go to attack mode, that just spins around and fires off spikes. Like, if I had to draw what a lady attacking Pokemon would look like, I think I would start there.
Yeah, that's a new thing that they're coming out, and the kids are getting really addicted to it. There's another game out that we just recently found out. Very addicting is Minecraft.
Oh no!
You go into this thing and build a world of your own.
You build the world.
And these kids are. We had to step in on my own grandsons.
Oh, this asshole took away Minecraft from his grandkid. Look at this guy. He's like, yeah, I took away Minecraft. Asshole.
Because they're getting addicted to it. You build these worlds and you put these different things in it that you want. And they'll play, these children will play it for hours and they'll compete against each other. And it's not necessarily occultic, but it's distracting.
Well, I like that he at least admits there it's not occultic Minecraft, that is. He at least admits the problem with it is video game addiction, not so much just, demonic.
That's all they can think about. Wow. Then they don't go back to read the Bibles or study the Word because they're hooked on these things. Just be careful what you let your children watch.
Another place, we were in Myrtle Beach a few years ago, and now they have one in Pigeon Forge. It's called Magic Quest. And what that is you go and you use the magic wand to go through in each of the rooms. Oh, yes.
They teach you how to use
that magic wand to get through each door and to use it over the dragons. Yes, dragon is a spirit. Yes.
This lady is afraid of everything. I bet if you went to the grocery store, she would tell you margarine and hot sauce are also names of demons.
We've seen it. Okay, these are real deal. And my heart is to be able to come up with a game that will teach the young people how to use the sword of the word. That's it, sword of the Spirit, sword of the word. Okay, over that which you have dominion and authority over. So when I started to see Magic Quest, I thought, what a delusion. Another form of...
Whoa, lady. You're the one on here attacking Minecraft and Pokemon, and you're saying someone else is delusional? Like, I don't want to say look in the mirror, but, like...
deception, but another form of entertainment for our kids.
Because you don't know. Many people you meet are not of God. They're of the occult. The first time you came here and you shared your testimony, what happened when you went home?
We had, in our front yard, we had a big pecan tree, or pecan, and they had hung over 100 ravens by the neck.
I picture.
This guy is so full of shit. Look at that face. He's like, yeah, I hung them ravens in the pecan tree. What the frig are you talking about, dude?
Tree.
They hung
them.
The cult came one night, hung over 100 ravens by the neck in the tree.
As a warning to us to keep our mouth shut. And
so what did you do?
You know what? Hold on. Time out. Okay, so look, I just went online and checked local police reports from the area that this thing was filmed in. Okay? There has never been any reports of hundreds of ravens being hung from trees. So look, if this actually happened, right, this is a fairly traumatic thing, and I'm very much against animal abuse. I think that's horrendous. I am going to go on the record saying this guy is full of it and this did not happen. Because, like what? So all the occult people in the world are just in your town and they're going to hang ravens because you called them out on it?
Just going through the city that night, and one of their people was stabbed, and they didn't know what to do, so we brought them into the church, offered them coffee.
You take them to a hospital, you jackass! If somebody gets stabbed, you don't take them into a church and give them coffee.
Hot chocolate.
Or hot chocolate.
People were stabbed.
He was stabbed.
And they didn't know what to do, so we brought them into the church, offered them coffee and hot chocolate, and had the privilege of leading 28 of them to the Lord.
That is awesome.
That's the power.
Yeah, that's the power. If somebody gets stabbed, you take them to the hospital. You don't, like, take them and get them a hot cocoa. Like, here, Starbucks time. All right, guys, that was our first video. What a mess. So that was just to get us warmed up for what we have to deal with here. So we have a lot more coming, so let's take a look at the next one. All right, guys, so the next video we actually have here is from YouTube. It is from a gentleman who released this video, and it says, if I'm not mistaken, Pokemon Go, harmless game or communion with devils. So it is actually a 30-minute presentation. Yeah, you know, we're going to jump right in. I didn't really watch any of this. I just made sure the video queued up. So let's get started.
Many have seen the new fad going around today called Pokemon Go.
Pokemon. Not Pokemon. Pokemon. Pocket monsters.
All over the news, it's been talked about how there's this new video game that you can download on your phone, and you can actually go around and find little Pokemon, whatever those are.
Not only did he mispronounce it and say Pokemon, he decided to make it the plural and make it Pokemen. I can't tell if he's doing this because he actually has no clue, or if he's like literally just trying to make himself seem like the type, you know, who doesn't understand Pokemon. Because he looks like he's, you know, not necessarily my age, but, you know, old enough to have been around when Pokemon was a thing.
And, you know, I didn't pay much attention to it, didn't think much of it. But the more that this fad goes on, the more I think, you know, I need to mention this. I need to talk about this from a Christian perspective on what this so-called Pokemon fad really is, because
I think it's past a fad point at this point, but let's continue.
It could be a very, very dangerous thing.
No, it's not. Please stop.
And so I was looking into Pokemon. Now, I don't know a lot about Pokemon, but I remembered when Pokemon came out. I never liked the Japanese animation stuff. I wasn't into that. But when it came out, I said, wonder what that is. And I asked some people, and this was several years ago, and they said, well, Pokemon is all about a person having a little friend who's a monster. And he talks to that monster, and he builds that monster up and makes him stronger. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound very Christian.
I mean, it's basically like raising a friend or helping your friend grow and develop. I mean, there's very Christian attitudes in that. The fact that you're just calling it a monster is sort of a catch-all term for anything that's not human. But, semantics.
A person playing with a little monster?
Monster? Oh, man, I have a feeling we're going to have fun with this guy.
I guess it's hatched from an egg or something, and they talk to it, and they help it to win in battle and fight with it and things like this. And from Christian perspective, my thought was, well, that sounds like witchcraft.
Buckle up, guys. Here we go.
You see, witchcraft is a person talking to demons, making deals with demons, and asking demons to do something for them through a contract, and then they do something for the demon. And so it sounded like to me, and I always thought, well, that sounds like preparing kids for later times to where they learn witchcraft and talk to demons.
I bet this guy would have problems with Minecraft too. I mean, God, you're crafting things, which means witchcraft. Oh.
So I always thought, man, that Pokemon thing sounds pretty wicked.
Pretty wicked. Yeah, it's not wicked, buddy. Jeez. I mean, God, just take a look at it. There's nothing wicked with it.
Well, Pokemon Go has come out now, which, if you don't know, they call it, let me see if I can read it here from Wikipedia. It's called an...
I like how all this information comes from Wikipedia. It's very good proof that he's done all of his research.
Augmented reality. And what it is you take your phone, I guess, and you download into your phone, and you choose your little Pokemon or whatever, and you go around on your phone and you look for these little monsters. And supposedly they're hiding in certain places, and you can find them through your phone.
Well, all right. He's not horrendously off so far.
I thought, that sounds weird. Well, I got an email from a friend the other day.
It's basically the entire Pokemon thing. That's the entire concept of Pokemon. They're hiding, waiting for you to find them.
Who's used to be, years ago, in the occult.
Did you guys ever notice that these church individuals who are like the real televangelists seem to have no problem getting in contact with former Satan people, former occultists? Do you think maybe that a lot of people are full of shit? Just throwing it out there.
Let me read the email that I got from him. He says, "Hi, Robert. Have you noticed the new Pokemon game? I have a background in occultism. I walked with dowsing rods to do research on demonic ley lines and dragon lines. Google Earth was installed on my PC, and it had ley lines from all over the world in it."
I can't make this up. This guy's evidence source is a guy who walked with dowsing rods, which, if you don't know what those are, it's just bent metal coat hangers, and somehow if they cross, it means something. And then the guy is using that in combination with Google Earth to find Satan lines.
I know exactly where some of the most demonic spots are, also in my own area.
I think it might be this guy's house. This guy's freaking crazy.
So here's a guy that used to be in the cult, and he says there's these lines upon the earth that are, I don't know if they're magnetic lines or whatever they are, but he says that from his experience in the cult, these lines have to do with demons.
Could they be imaginary lines?
Maybe this is the areas that demons most of the time pass as they go in their different directions.
Maybe it's nothing at all.
I continue from his email. One is close to an iron sculpture in front of my house. So one of these ley lines, which he calls occultic, is close to an iron sculpture in front of his house. He says, today I noticed that a lot of kids stop there on their bikes with their phones. I didn't know what they were doing. Then I realized they were playing this new Pokemon game in an augmented reality.
The technology is called augmented reality. It doesn't mean that your reality has changed.
I did some research on Pokemon this afternoon. ... It's demonic.
So because somebody claims to support your opinion, that automatically makes them right, huh?
He says, the game is all about evil and connecting ley lines. Pokemon are demons. People playing this game are putting themselves at great risk, not only physically because they are totally hypnotized in their game while driving their bikes and even cars, also spiritually because they open themselves to demons on places where vortices to darkness exist.
That was a lot to unpack. Hope you guys are buckled in. This is going to be a pretty wild one.
Wow. If he's right, you know what Pokemon is?
An app? Or Pokemon is the largest selling franchise in the world where you collect cute and cool-looking monsters, but, you know.
That Pokemon Go game is allowing people to see into the spirit world, and they have animated demons. And so people are running around on these satanic ley lines looking for demons, and oh, don't they look so cute on your phone? It's actually allowing you to see into the spirit world through a little box.
If this was an actual tool that could let you see into the spirit world, Pokemon Go would be making even more money than it already has.
Isn't it interesting that these Pokemon games tell you to go along these certain ley lines that in the occult are ley lines that are known lines where demons?
They just tell you a point. They don't tell you a line. So literally, you can take any damn route you want to get there, as long as you get to the right point. Yeah, we need the meme again. We need the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We need the Pepe Rizzo meme. Bring it up. Yeah, there we go. That's our homie here.
Frolic to and fro. I continue with his email. This is a very serious thing. I'm flabbergasted by the amount of people I see below my balcony. They have no clue.
I think you have too much of a clue, buddy.
They think they're playing an innocent game while actually they're catching demons on ley line centers.
Guys, let me ask you a question. Now, regardless of what our friend here has said, what do you at home think is more likely? That some artists and people who like catching bugs developed a franchise that became an app that became very popular due to the connection that people have with these digital creatures, or that Pokemon was made as a way of convincing people to walk on Satan and dragon ley lines in order to bring the spirit world into the real world by bringing demons to kids.
There's also a new project in my town, and he continues on there about how he connects it with masons and masonry. He says, as it was in the days of Noah, these are the last days, in my opinion. God bless. And
tries to connect it to Freemasons, too. I mean, this is like a conspiracy theory checklist.
So here's an ex-occult member saying, guess what? I think this is the occult. Now, you know what's odd? It's been in the news twice. Listen to this now. Twice, according to the news, people playing this Pokemon game in their little phone have come to where they supposedly are to find one of these little monsters, and they look down at their feet, and there's a dead body. Now, is that just coincidence?
When you have millions of people playing it, yes, that is coincidence. It's really unfortunate, and it's pretty effing horrible that would happen, but statistically speaking, it's likely to happen at some point.
You know, it's interesting. 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You know what they call your cell phone? A device, an electronic device.
So he's using a homophone to try and make his point. So let's see. Does that mean that wills are all made out of personal strength? Does that mean that every time you say the word not, you're talking about a thing off the side of a tree? No. This guy has made up his mind and is trying to find evidence to push his agenda.
Jesus said of Satan, he said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven in Luke 10:18. You know, that whole world of electricity, lightning is electricity, has to do with the devil. That's his realm.
So you don't have a TV or a phone or anything like that, bud? You're recording this on a camera, which uses electricity. So you are thereby saying that you consort with Satan because of that.
Ephesians 2:2 says, where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, and the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Where does he work? In the air. From what I understand, this Pokemon thing is a device in your hand that shows what's really around you through satellite images, so it goes through the air.
You breathe the air, dummy.
It's an electronic device. And what it seems, if this email is correct, it's allowing people to put on spiritual goggles through a little box to see demons in the spiritual world. Whew.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're pretty gone, pretty wonky here, man. I gotta say.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you are.
Here's the front page if you go to Pokemon Go. You may not be able to see that, but you can go to PokemonGo.com if you want.
It's got a very high quality printer. Zebras have less stripes.
And the first thing you see, it says, select your region. I'm like, huh? You know, the Bible says in the last days when the Antichrist comes, he's going to set up 10 regions around the world.
The game wants to know where you are so it can give you the appropriate servers and can give you the appropriate spawns of Pokemon. I think there may also be more than 10 regions, but or less. It's certainly not exactly 10.
Well, there has, I think, 15 here. But it's interesting how it says region. It doesn't say go by state. It doesn't say go by continent. It says, hey, pick a region, and we'll show you where to get started to play this satanic devil game. Pokemon Go! So here's the little device. Here's the little thing. So you get your little iPhone, which I find interesting. iPhone. You know, what the devil wants is to get you to only think about yourself. And so he wants you to be selfish. And what does a selfish person do? They say, I, me, 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 me. You go to Isaiah, I believe it's chapter 14, talking about Satan.
This guy's a problem with Apple devices too?
And I think it's 7 times that he says, I will do this, and I will do that, and I will rise up, and You know, when it comes to Christianity, it's not all about you, it's all about Jesus.
I don't know, you're making this all about you, buddy.
So this game, Pokemon Go, gets you to get your eyes on yourself.
Actually, your eyes are on your screen, but, you know, tomatoes, tomatoes, I suppose.
iPhone, it's like for your eye to see, and it's almost like it's a divining lens to see into the spirit world.
So the fact that it's also on Android doesn't mean anything?
As this email says, these are demons found on certain ley lines on the earth. I'll tell you what, that should scare you. That should scare you right now.
You scare me.
You ought to be afraid of something like that. I'm looking here. A guy sent me something. It says Pokemon Go. How about Pokemon No Go?
Did you say God sent him that, or a guy sent him that? It sounded like he said God, but I'm assuming he meant guy.
He says the Japanese creator of the game Pokemon was a strict religious educated person by his Christian parents. Yet he himself admits that he is anti-Christian and he's a rebel.
This was actually disproven. This was fake news that was published before Pokemon Go came out.
Some of the names of these Pokemon are outrageously evil. One of them is called Greevil. Greevil. He says, you know,
there is a character called Greevil. He is a leader of an evil organization in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. They gave him the name because he is notably a bad guy.
What that stands for? The Grand Master of Evil.
Yeah, because he's the leader of an evil organization.
Shorten it into Greevil. Now, I don't have time to go into all the names of the Pokemon, but you start looking at them, some of the names appear to be names of things in the Bible.
Oh, please show me.
Could they be, as this email suggests, demons on certain ley lines? And somehow the people behind Pokemon Go have been able to find the ley lines and through a spiritual, physical means, a device, allow you to see into the spiritual world?
I think that's pretty far-fetched, which is also not the name of a demon, but I really want to know what names he has a problem with.
Scary if you think about it.
It's really not if you think
Wikipedia
about it.
tells us that Pokemon Go is a free-to-play, location-based augmented reality mobile game. I don't need reality augmented for me. I'm already in reality. I don't want to see what's in the spiritual world.
But if you're happy with reality, why do you have to make so much shit up for this?
This doesn't sound like a wholesome, good game. This sounds like utter confusion. Well, that's interesting. What does the Bible say about confusion? Who is the author of confusion? Oh, that's right. It's Satan.
So when somebody presents like a math problem to you that you don't get right away, and you're confused that that's Satan, I think this guy has had a lot of dealings with Satan then.
Pokemon. Is that what Pokemon is? It's the spirit world trying to poke you and say, hey, come find me. Come look for me. I'm a demon. Well, that's what this guy says in his email. I don't know. But I read here, Pokemon is bad. Just another fad? Question mark. Read on. Okay, let's read. This person tells the experience of how they allowed their 8-year-old child to play the game of Pokemon. And it says right here by Brett Peterson, Pokemon, the true power behind pocket monsters. I forgot to tell you that that's what they call those little beings, pocket monsters. They're little monsters that you can keep in your pocket on your iPhone.
The pocket is relating to keeping a Pokeball in your pocket, not the phone.
This might be demons from hell.
I can't take it with this guy.
And their goal is to get you to go there with them.
Pokemon Go is about going outside and going and exploring the actual world around you, not going to hell.
By the way, in Mark chapter 5, there's a man who has an unclean spirit, the Bible says. And guess where he likes to hang out? It says here that he's dwelling among the tombs. He's among the tombs. He's the man of Gadarene, the maniac of Gadara, I guess he's called. A demon-possessed man who loves to hang around dead people. So if you're playing a game and it leads you to a dead body and you're supposed to meet a little monster there, you very well could be meeting a demon because demons, unclean spirits, like to hang around dead bodies. Weird.
All right, guys, so we're going to actually call it there for that one. Yeah, it is really weird. I mean, this dude is just trying to push his own narrative by talking about, people stumbling upon a dead body as something that is religious in nature when it's just a tragedy. He is taking BS emails and trying to push a narrative with them. So it's just nonsense on top of nonsense. So honestly, I think if the Catholic Church really wanted to push a narrative, they could do a lot better than this dude. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, that was something. So now we're going to hop over to another one. I was able to actually find this on a website that compiles a bunch of different things like records of sermons and things like that. And this is actually by a gentleman whose name is Dr. David L. Brown. He is a minister. And on top of that, he also wrote a book and another sermon back in the late 90s and early 2000s called The Problem with Pokemon. And he has entitled this sermon presentation the same thing, The Problem with Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. I expect it to be entertaining. So we are picking up a little bit into this. He kind of went off. He was talking about more general church stuff in the beginning or what have you, and kind of just logistical stuff for Pokemon, like how it works, all that kind of stuff. So we're jumping in now here, and he has he's come up with a list of questions to ask yourself to further understand things about the world and about what you are looking at. So let's take a look.
I'm just going to shake it down for you. I've developed a list of questions that will assist you in determining if something is compatible with a biblical or with a Christian worldview.
I cannot wait.
Just do it real quick before we get into the Pokemon stuff. Number one, what belief system or doctrines are evident or being advocated?
The practice of gotta catch 'em all?
If it is not Christian beliefs, and if it's contrary to the Bible, reject it.
I will point out one thing. Loving your neighbor and loving others is a very accepting and Christian thing, and that's basically the fundamentals of Pokemon. Even the late Pope John Paul said that as well. So,
1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. Just going to read it to you here. 1 Timothy chapter 4, 1, it says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of demons." So many of the games, I'm not kidding you, so many of the games even today, they're worse than when I was speaking out on them, are based upon the doctrines of demons today. You need to know.
all right, so we got another guy who clearly thinks Pokemon is demonic and satanic and not just a generally potentially harmful thing.
What kind of games your kids are playing. You need to know what kind of television they're watching. I'm not going to go deep into that because there's so much that I want to cover today. But if it is not compatible, if the belief system and the doctrines that are being promoted are not according to the Bible, then you should junk it. Is it hedonism? The love of pleasure? Is it humanism? Man's the measure of all things. Is it evolution? Is it occultic?
Okay, so the guy is saying if it goes against, so he's saying evolution goes against Christianity. Real winner you guys got here.
In the case of occultic, in Pokemon, it's occultic power. And there's a very interesting thing. What is the origin of the power that energizes? I'm saying, is the triune God the source of the power or other source of power? Now, I'm going to go from preaching to meddling, but that's why.
First of all, what the hell is he talking about? Who is triune? What the hell is a triune? What? And then he's like, all right, time to go from preaching to meddling. Wow.
I do not like the Marvel the Marvel characters, because all of the Marvel characters, Captain America, and I don't even know what they are, all those comic book characters that they've made movies about, their power is not the power of God. It's some kind of an occultic power, an otherworldly power.
I mean, Thor and Loki are gods.
And that's dangerous. Number 4, are there psychic, occultic, satanic, New Age symbols incorporated? In Pokemon, there certainly are.
Oh boy, I bet this guy's got a dossier too.
Are your thoughts and imagination steered into a wholesome or unwholesome direction? You need to guard your heart, for out of it proceeds the issues of life. Does it glorify violence or evil? Number 6, does it depict immorality or arouse lustful desires?
This guy is basically saying that anything that goes against these questions he's come up with, that he's structured, are bad, and they are objectively evil. And yet, he is the one that put these together. So he is literally saying, if you're not with me, you're against me. Anakin would be very proud.
With me, if you would, to page number 8, and look at the picture, the cartoon picture of Misty.
Everybody has to pick on Misty for wearing those dang outfits, those shorts and the having her navel exposed. But it's just an outfit. It doesn't It's not the outfit that's the problem. He's just trying to find something to cause an issue with.
Ah, boy, she's dressed modestly, is she not? I wouldn't want my girls, I wouldn't want my guys looking at that. My intention is to draw your attention to the biblical problems of an old game that I thought was pretty much marginalized by now, but has come back bigger than ever now, and that's Pokemon Go.
Sure did. It had one of the most impressive resurgences of a franchise pretty much ever. It was never really gone. It stayed consistent, but Pokemon Go brought it much more like blazing into the mainstream.
And it's an app on your smartphone.
At least the guy didn't have a problem with the iPhone like the last one did.
An article in an online editorial from The Guardian fills in some of the details. Pokemon Go takes gamers out of the living room. This is why people are lauding it, saying, oh, they play all the time, sit there, and they play in the house. Everybody's lauding it because now they get out and they run around and get exercise.
It's a great way of incorporating exercise into video games that people are going to be playing no matter what.
Gamers, they get them out of the living room and onto the streets as they compete to capture, train, and battle Pokemon characters using the mobile phones. Woo, doggies. I mean, that just...
This guy is trying to mock a presentation about it from The Guardian, but he's just coming across as an idiot.
Thrills my soul. Anyway, the goal is the same as it was in the card game. In the video game, players battle to capture, and what the word Pokemon, we'll see a little bit later, stands for pocket monsters. That's what it stands for. Pocket monsters, pocket demons, if you would. In addition, a Pokemon creature can appear anywhere at any time. Ooh, now it's getting exciting. If you have been led to church, a creature may appear in clerical garb.
That is not true. That has never happened.
However, if you're going to a graveyard, a ghostly Pokemon may appear, etc. If you see the creature and tap on it, a mini game starts, and of course, the goal is to catch the Pokemon. I want you to know that Pokemon is derived, and I've underlined it, and so you can see it. It comes from the word pocket monsters. Pokemon has entertained Japanese youth since 1995, and usually
96.
What goes on in Japanese culture doesn't transfer over to the United States, but Nintendo got involved, and so you got Wizards of the Coast involved originally, and Nintendo involved, and so there's all...
Nintendo has been involved since the beginning. That is why Nintendo gets a part of the shares of whatever money Pokemon makes. So it wasn't just them. They came here, and then they had Wizards of the Coast help them to develop the card game.
All kinds of Pokemon cards. You can spend hundreds of dollars on different Pokemon cards.
Oh, I wish I could only spend hundreds on Pokemon cards nowadays.
But without apology, I'm talking to you about a biblical perspective. Satan is getting the upper hand because Christians are oblivious to the tactics that the adversary uses to invade the minds of our children and, as it turns out, our 24 to 35-year-olds.
Maybe we just realized that Satan is probably not coming to us through the games of Pokemon. But let's see what he has to present to us here.
Now, let's go back to the values, beliefs, and philosophies that the game promotes. In 1998 to 2003, Wizards of the Coast were in charge of translating from Japanese into English the Pokemon cards and distributing them, and Nintendo got into the game business. Pokemon trading card game is a collectible game that was distributed by Wizards of the Coast. The Wizards of the Coast is also the ones who own TSR, which is Dungeons and Dragons. If you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, I'm glad.
Oh man, he's just using the... Again, it's another one of like, common things we're going to blame for everything, and Dungeons and Dragons is on there, of course.
However, it's a very occultic and a very demonic game that now has moved big time into the video game field as well. In October of 1st of 2003, Wizards of the Coast translated the license to the Pokemon trading game, card game, to the Pokemon Company International, owned by Nintendo. So Nintendo owns it now.
Incorrect. The Pokemon Company International is its own entity. Nintendo works with them to distribute the video games. But the Pokemon Company International is pretty much its own entity. And the Pokemon Company International owns the copyright of Pokemon, but due to original licensing rules, Nintendo has a portion of the license. Think of it like Shark Tank is the best analogy I could do. Game Freak, and later, for all intents and purposes, Pokemon, was the guy going in there with a new idea, and Nintendo was Mark Cuban giving them a whole stack of cash in exchange for 10 to however many percent of their IP. So that's how that works, in case anybody was wondering.
Next, I'd like to go into the characters in the video games and on the cards and see what their values are. Ash. Ash is the boy-looking character on the front of your notes, and right next to him is the powerful Pokemon Pikachu.
I feel like this guy is doing these crazy voices to try and keep his audience awake. Because I feel like that might otherwise be a bit of a struggle.
Sounds like some kind of gum. What are you chewing? I'm chewing Pikachu. But anyway, Ash Ketchum is one of the main characters, and he's described as an energetic and determined 10-year-old, a little too competitive. He is obsessed with catching all Pokemon and driven to become the world's foremost Pokemon master. That's why they spend so many hours doing this.
Could it be that we spend so much... So for Ash, he's trying to be the best Pokemon master. For everybody else, is it at least plausible we could just enjoy it a whole lot?
Oh, yes, and to be sure, the Pokemon rap song and mantra will be included in their material, and still is. I travel across land, searching far and wide, each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. What power is that? Biblical power?
I want to make a remix of this dude doing that.
I don't think so. You gotta catch them all. You gotta catch them all, friends. You gotta catch them all. That's their mantra. You gotta catch them all.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of them and you need to catch them all.
Then look at another character. I already pointed that out. Ash's companion is Misty.
To any women watching this, I am going to apologize in advance for anything that this guy is about to say. I have a feeling that I might need to do that.
Would you want your daughter dressed like Misty? Do you know what? I don't care if it's in cartoon form or not. You will see people dressing up like their idols, and Misty is described as headstrong and stubborn and constantly quibbling with Ash and seems to harbor deep feelings for Ash. Now watch this.
First of all, sure, cosplay is a fine form of expression. Second of all, I can only imagine where he's going with this.
The next one, the third member of the trio, is Brock, who is by far the most hormonal. He's the most hormonal.
I love how everybody specifically targets Pokemon and says they're evil because of Brock being a horn dog, but it's just an aspect of the cartoon. I mean, it's not like he's not showing doing anything malicious. He's just showing getting hard eyes every time a woman walks on screen.
Let's take a look at the trainer Gary. He's a real jerk, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious. And here's this. I was going to put it in there and didn't do it. And then there is Jesse and James.
Yeah, Gary and Jesse and James are portrayed as the villains. They're supposed to not be role models.
Here is how they are described. Prepare for trouble, make it double. Jesse and James, a mysterious and evil gang looking to steal rare Pokemon. Jesse and James are stuck up, fashion conscious. Now watch this. and prone to what? Cross-dressing.
Oh God. Why both him and the rockin' mullet dude, self-expressed or self-claimed Satanist, seem to take such an issue with that. And the majority of it is, James dressing up like a lady to blend in, or Jesse dressing up like a guy to blend in. Like, so what? They're just clothes. Like, chill.
And I looked on the internet, and sure enough, there is one of them in a cute little dress. And this is the kind of role models you want for your kids?
No, first of all, you don't need characters in fiction to always be role models. You can just have people be characters that are funny and enjoyable. Second of all, they are portrayed as villains. They are expressly shown as what not to do. Like, that's why they're shown to be, villainous and mischievous. First of all, you need a antagonist for Ash and the crew, and secondly, they're expressly shown with characteristics that are not good. That's why they're the bad guys. What are you gonna say next? Darth Vader is a bad role model for kids? No shit. He kills people. He force chokes people. Sorry guys, it's almost May the 4th. That's why I have so many Star Wars references throughout this. But anyways, continuing.
Misty and Jesse and obnoxious. Here's what you come up with. You put it all together. And these aren't even all the characters. Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks, and most definitely, these are not biblical role models. These characters do not portray biblical values.
According to you,
Pokemon do not measure up. I don't care whether it's the gold version, I don't care whether it's the card version, it does not measure up to a biblical world and life view.
According to you.
Are you a believer? I'm not so worried about those unsaved kids out there. I'm worried about us who claim to have a biblical world and life view. I'm worried about their salvation. They're already going to hell if they don't come to know Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, so I want to try and reach them.
So automatically he assumes anyone playing Pokemon Go must automatically be not affiliated with a religion, and therefore is hellbound. Yeah.
Some Pokemon grow or evolve. This is facilitated by energy cards, or you get energy dust, or you can get them candy.
Get them candy? Yeah, I mean, you have to have some sort of source of, fuel for your characters. Like in the card game, you need some sort of resource to make the attacks work. And yeah, you have Stardust as a consumable resource to make your Pokemon evolve. What's the issue?
In the Pokemon Go game, that makes your Pokemon grow bigger and more powerful. And what is the source of this power? It's the pantheistic power of the occult. It is not the supernatural power of God. How do I know? Well, abracadabra.
So he really is cherry picking. It's the same as Mullet Guy. He literally has almost the same presentation here. He's just showing targeted things that are magic words that are a problem. But they're, at the end of the day, just made up words that are used for magic shows. They're just nonsense words to put with you waving your hand around or performing some sleight of hand. Do you think he has a problem with supercalifragilisticexpialidocious or bibbidi bobbidi boo? Like, it's the same thing.
Say, what are you talking about? Well, these are two Pokemon cards, and they have been recently released again.
Actually, Kadabra was pretty much put on hold. It was still in the Pokemon Go game, but it hadn't been a card until Uri Geller dropped the lawsuit back in 2020.
Kadabra has been a word that's been associated with cult magic way back. A word that is supposed to have magical power and hence is used as an incantation or on an amulet. I have seen amulets that have abracadabra that are worn by witches and occultists. You can buy them if you go down to the, I don't even want to tell you, but in each year about this time, down to the south, there's a fair that is really pretty occultic. It's called the Renaissance Fair.
So, first of all, so what if people wear if people wear articles or accessories that have magical words on them? So what? And secondly, he's saying that Renaissance fairs are evil. I mean, the price you pay for a turkey leg is pretty evil, but other than that,
and there's all kinds of occult paraphernalia and things down there. There's psychics and all that kinds of things down there at the Renaissance Fair.
It's all just for fun. Like, what? What is your problem?
And it's a magic spell or formula. It's no accident that two of the Pokemon cards are Abracadabra and are psychic cards with magical powers. On the Abra card, here's what it says. Here's what it says right on the Abra card. Using its abilities to read minds. You know what that is?
I have a feeling he's going to tell us, but the appropriate word would be telepathy.
That's psychic. Okay? It will identify impending danger and teleport to safety. Then there's the symbol on the Kadabra card. It's a pentagram, and on a pentagram on his forehead, and an SSS on his chest. And he is giving the satanic salute with his left hand. That's.
Okay, so in the Western world, we find these symbols offensive, but he seems to fail to realize that in different cultures, these things mean different things. It's very much like what I was saying in the last episode. In Japan, there is a symbol, the opposite. If you take a swastika and you flip it backwards, that's a symbol for peace and nature in Japan. So they actually use that symbol on a lot of national areas and very public things because it means that and not what a swastika means, the connotation it carries. When I went to Japan, on their maps I saw a ton of swastikas all over the place, which I thought were swastikas, only to find out that it meant something completely different. So you have different cultural experiences that shape the way you interpret things. And this guy assumes that everybody has to go by the Western centric view of what these symbols represent. So, I mean, not only is he just being ridiculous, but he's just being so, his ideologies first that it's just ridiculous.
It's wrong. And what you're doing is conditioning the mind, it's conditioning the mind of the players. As I mentioned, in 1999, there was 150 documented species of Pokemon.
151, noob!
Today, there are 729.
Actually, at the time of the recording, there are significantly more than that, but here we go.
Back in 1999, and I have, from people who repented and got rid of it, I have locked in storage about 100 of the original Pokemon cards that are probably very valuable now.
Yeah, you want to sell them?
Don't see me. I won't sell them. I will grind them before I die. My wife already knows what's to happen when I die because I was an occult researcher for 20 years.
I can't wait to see what other, religious demon artifacts he has kept up with these Pokemon cards.
But today there's...
And he's dragging his wife into this. Can you imagine what that will must look like? Like, take box A, bury it in a graveyard under 20 piles of garlic, or with the Pokemon cards, he's going to grind them. Like, this guy is insane.
729 documented Pokemon species.
Whoa! Hold on. I'm going to rewind that.
I was an occult researcher for 20 years.
Oh, shut up.
But today there's 729 documented Pokemon species.
As of the end of X and Y, I believe it's correct, or pretty close to it. So, shout out to the guy. He actually did look that up. So obviously a guy who has a medieval, cage full of horrible satanic artifacts probably does his research, but kudos for actually getting some facts.
One writer talks about a mom who talked to her and said she overheard her two boys said, "I just use my psychic powers when I come into, problems." They were big Pokemon players. It's clear that the fantasy world developers of Pokemon have already condition the thinking of.
Can't these kids just be playing make-believe? Like, just because kids go and play cops and robbers doesn't mean one of them is going to go up into law enforcement, the other one's going to go and become a, criminal.
I'll tell you, Pokemon Masters are modeled after the fighting schools or battling gangs that.
Excuse me? I mean, objectively, so by Pokemon standards, I'm what they call a Pokemon Master, right? I have them all. I have a living dex. I have the majority of a shiny living dex. I've never been part of a gang or part of a fighting school.
I'm just trying to tell you to be careful. Weeping Bell, Razor Leaf, says it spits out poison powder to immobilize the enemy and then finishes off the enemy with a spray of acid. Oh.
It's a pitcher plant.
Oh, interesting.
That's what they do in the real world.
Does that line up with the scripture, by the way?
Well, given that it's based on a pitcher plant and a Venus flytrap, respectively, and that, by your logic, God created pitcher plants and Venus flytraps, yeah. All right, guys. So obviously that guy was kind of pushing his own agenda and was kind of doing some, manipulating the facts to serve his own agenda. Now, guys, I want to make one thing clear. So these videos are very, very funny because there are people taking a belief to the extreme. Now, I'm not posting these videos to try and attack religious people or anything like that. I am posting these videos to make light of somebody who is very, very warped in their belief and obviously trying to say that something that is pure and innocent like Pokemon is evil. And in keeping with that, I actually found this other video while I was looking for these that we showed today that actually shows there is hope. Quite the opposite of what these other videos show. All right, guys, so I found this clip from a YouTube channel called Catholic Answers. And so what this guy does, his name is Jimmy Aiken, I believe. And he hosts kind of like, at least in this context, he hosts kind of like a Q&A type like call-in show where people can call in and ask him various religious questions. So we are going to see, he actually is about to get a call regarding Pokemon, and we're going to see how he answers it.
Hello, you're on the air. What's your question?
I've heard that Pokemon can be or is satanic, and I was wondering if there's any truth to that, and if so, then I was wondering, like, how is it? Like, is it in the cards, or is it in just the whole concept of it, or is...
Okay.
Well, it seems to be what a lot of people are struggling with, who we've been looking at so far in this series.
Well, so I would say this is, you hear this challenge a lot about things in pop culture. And, I remember back in the day, Dungeons and Dragons is satanic. And
we've been hearing that a lot today, too.
And before that, card playing is satanic. And you hear a lot of these, that's satanic charges. And you gotta kind of got to look at those with a critical eye, because and we were talking about this in the previous hour, St. Paul says, test everything and hold fast to what is good. Well, let's test this satanic claim. What would it mean for something to be satanic? Well, in the full and proper sense, I assume that it means it would invite you to worship Satan. Okay, well, personally, I'm not a Pokemon player. I've seen a few of the cartoons. I have a little bit of familiarity with the gameplay in this. But as far as I can tell, Pokemon is about capturing fanciful animals, not worshiping Satan. So it would seem to me that in the ordinary literal sense, Pokemon is not satanic.
I just want to throw that in there, guys, because this gentleman here with Catholic Answers summarizes it really, really straightforwardly and very simply for anybody to understand. And shout outs to him. I'm going to be linking his video in the description. So if you guys want to check out the full episode, please go ahead and do it. He seems to have a very good head on his shoulders, and I definitely appreciate that to be the closing for our episode today, because that perfectly summarizes how any rational thinker would approach this, and it's something so different than what we've seen quite a bit. So I know we had a lot of fun today, guys, but I definitely wanted to show you this as well to kind of bookend all the fun we had with the fact that, people can interpret, religion and really look at it with a critical eye and can enjoy things like Pokemon or anything else. And it doesn't have to be this evil specter, that everybody's been preaching against. So guys, that's the episode that we have for you today. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you had a lot of laughs and a lot of enjoyment looking at some interesting opinions of one of the greatest franchises ever made. And guys, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys had a good time and like this kind of content. If you do like this kind of content, please hit the like button on the video, and please also consider subscribing to the channel to join the Bridge 4 crew. We have a ton of content like this coming up all the time, including things like our VGC Academy, video game playthroughs, etc. And we really enjoy bringing all this content to you guys. And if you guys hit subscribe, you're never going to miss an episode. So it helps you guys, it helps the channel more than you guys could possibly understand. So if you do like this kind of content, please do that to make sure that we can continue bringing it to you. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you again so much for being here with me. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. See you later. Bye-bye.